Dusty, snap out of it!
Any of this look familiar?
Our constellation contact is on approach.
Yeah, but come on. Exploring space? Who does that anymore? Ain't the space we've already got complicated enough?
Welcome aboard the Starfield Report podcast.
Welcome, everybody, back to the Starfield Report podcast. I am your host, Kenny Smyson, and with me, as always, is Jax. How you doing, Jax?
I'm doing great. Good morning, folks, and all you captains of the Blackest Sea. I hope y'all are doing well this morning as well.
Yeah, lots of pillaging and plundering out there in the stars, and today we are going to be talking about the Entangled mission. Now, I do know that as we start going through some of these missions, depending on what website you're on, the number's going to change because some of these missions are dependent on each other, and I think a couple of them you can do slightly out of order. I think like back when you first meet Andreja and then Sam, I think those ones you can do in any order. So I think I'm on Starfield wiki.net, and it shows the Entangled mission as mission 15, I believe. Or no, 16. So it shows it as mission 16. So, but Entangled mission. Everybody's favorite.
In Nara.
You're on.
It shows it's 16.
Okay, so 16 on both these websites then. Okay, good. And this mission, everybody loves this mission. It gets all the praise. There's no problems with it.
There's another settlement in danger.
Yep. This mission I wanted to have as its own one, just because, as you can imagine, there's a lot. I think this is probably the least liked mission, and we'll get into that kind of once we get through the initial intro and start of the mission. But I understand why people don't like it. I really enjoyed it. But
I did too.
I'm just kind of weird like that. I like the maze aspect of it. Anyways, let's go ahead and get right into the intro part. So Jax, tell us how this mission kicks off.
So, as you're doing your normal exploring the universe or the galaxy, and you're flying around, and you jump into a star system, there'll be a notification that says, what does it say? Something about a distress signal. Explore or examine the distress signal. Mm-hmm. And so you get a distress signal at any rate. It says, help, we need your help. We're having a problem. Come help us. So that's how mine kicked off. Let me bring it up real quick so that I'm not talking out my rear side here. It helps me.
Yeah, it's like a satellite. I think it's kind of like the failure to communicate mission. I think it looks exactly like those satellites where you have to go around and fix them for the different farmers on that one side quest. I think it's like the same kind of satellite, right? It's like one of those.
Yeah, it's a, what do they call it? A contact.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you go and you check out the contact. What's this? And then it says, investigate the distress signal when you get close.
Okay. So
you download the distress signal, and then you can listen to an audio file of someone pleading for help. Hey, we're having a problem. Can you help us? Come help us out, please. Oh. So at that point, you can decide to either continue doing what you're doing or get sidetracked, which never happens in a Bethesda game. You can just stay right on course like you always do.
Of course.
Or you can go do this thing, which turns out this is part of the main quest line. I had no idea, but there it is. Here you go. This furthered the game on a little bit. Let's further our exploration and our adventure. So we're gonna go check it out. So it takes you to I don't remember what the planet was. Let's see. I can find out real quick. We're going to be on Freya 3.
Yep,
So it takes
Freya
you to,
3.
yep, want you to go to Freya 3. So you take a quick jump. You go to Freya 3, and there's a hot spot there that when you look at the planet, it says land here, and it's got the little blue dot. So this is your quest location. Go there. So you land, and you find out that there's a research station called Nashina. Nashina.
Yeah, Nashina. Yep.
Nashina. So you land, you get out, you go to the front door, you knock on the door, ring the doorbell. Some rude guy says, "Hey, you can come in, but they got to stay outside." So from this point on, you get no companions. Leave your companions home. So if that makes you change your mind as to whether you want to take them off the ship or disengage them at this point, you're not going to be able to take them anyway.
Yeah.
So just you. Bring some good weapons.
That messed me up a little bit because by the time I would get to this point in the main quest, I was pretty high level, probably around level 50 or 60, because I had done a couple of I'd already done Freestar Rangers and Crimson Fleet, and so I learned a trick. If you want a larger crew, you have a bunch of people assigned to the crew, and then your companion, your active companion, you don't have to assign them to the ship. You just have them as a companion. For me, I don't remember who it was at this point, but I dismissed them, and and then I had to go find them wherever they were at. I think it was Barrett. I think it was Barrett. I think after, because I ran with Sam quite a bit. Then I switched to Andreja, married her, and then bad things happened. And then I switched with Barrett just to have a change of pace. Because
I like Barrett because I like his side chatter. He's funny.
Yeah, he's got definitely the best side chatter. Andrea is almost as good, but yeah. So yeah, I had to tell Barrett to kick rocks and go find him back at the lodge.
You gotta find your own ride home, buddy.
Oh yeah, that is funny because as soon as you tell him to not follow you, you're on another planet. He's not going to go back to the ship because he's not assigned, which means how did he get back to the lodge? He calls Space Lift or something, Space Uber.
Space Uber, that's it.
So, okay, so as you were saying, we go into the lab facility.
Yeah. So we get to meet a new character now. His name's Ethan. Charming fella. Ethan the Charmer.
Yep.
Yeah.
The security guard.
Step forward. Okay. Good morning to you, sir. So yeah, Ethan. Not Ethan Hawke. Ethan
Hughes.
Something. Hughes. That's it. I like his outfit. It's like the UC Marine security guard outfit, but it doesn't have the tagging of the UC on it.
Yeah, it's more blank, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could get that one because it's kind of funny to not be with the UC, but you'd be wearing their armor. And so anytime I can find a blank slate armor like that, that's just an outfit, that's better because it doesn't represent you're with anybody in particular.
So for us players on the PC, we have access to the command console. And so there's a lot of times I've come across a unique outfit. And I'll search the item code and I'll player.add item code and quantity. I really wish they added a mod for PC players to do the same thing. It's like I imagine a mod could be done, or maybe it can't be, which is why it's never been done on previous games. I don't know.
This is a dead horse, and I beat this horse every time we talk. But the Darkstar mod, you can create if you go to apparel. It's the apparel, the clothing creator, or the apparel creator, something like that.
Okay.
And it's got almost everybody in there. I mean, it's the girl at Mercantile, whatever that is,
Jemison
right?
Mercantile.
It's got her outfit. It's got all of the leaders of the UC when you go and talk to those people on the board of directors. It's got their stuff. It's got random NPCs. It's got the chef outfit. That's why I thought if I go look up this dude, Ethan Hughes. It's going to be there, and I'll be able to find it. This is going to be awesome. I'll get that one. Of course, the one that I go look up isn't there.
Oh man.
But there's, I don't know. I'm going to say probably 100. It may be 75. It may be 125. There's a bunch of outfits.
Okay.
It's got like the orange and yellow pilot suit for the UC Vanguard pilots.
Yep.
It's got the Vanguard security suit. It's got the UC security suit. It's got the UC Marines suit, the UC Marines armor suit. All of it is there. So I was really surprised that this particular one wasn't there. It's just an unmarked suit of armor that this dude wears as a security guard. You know, it's like being a cop but not having the badge.
Yeah, and he might be the only NPC that's wearing that outfit, and you also only come across him during this mission. So it stands
Right.
to reason that, and I don't think there's ever any reason to come back to the Nishina lab, because once you're done with the quest, there's no merchants there, there's no station or craft station you come back for, nothing like that.
I
So
wonder if he's an essential PC, an NPC. When you get done, if you could shoot him in the head, loot all using the loot all mod, and take his uniform.
or you could just crouch and steal, take his clothes off him as he's standing there.
Yeah, you could use the disruptor gun and
Oh,
put him
yeah.
to sleep and steal all the stuff. Okay, so maybe I don't
Yeah.
have to kill him.
You don't have to kill him. You don't
You don't have to kill everybody you run across.
Yeah, there's been times though in the game, like in past Bethesda games, where I've done that. I'm like, I feel a little bad, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just removing their code from the game. They're off somewhere. They retired. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
Because by the time I care about my outfits, usually I'm super high level to the point where, like, why isn't there an option just to talk to an NPC and say, hey, I'll give you I'll buy your outfit for $10,000 right now. I would totally do that, but I can't.
Exactly. You got so much money doesn't mean anything anymore. Usually, by the time you get to 3/4 of the way, halfway through the game, but especially
Yeah.
3/4 of the way through the game, money ain't nothing.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's see. We get past Ethan Hughes.
How did you get in the door? What did you tell him? Did you tell him that you were responding to the distress signal, or did you tell him that you were with Constellation, searching out artifacts? Because there's three different dialogues you can go
Yeah.
through. I don't even know why I'm here, I think is like the dumb answer.
Yeah,
But
I'm trying, because I remember choosing both. I chose both differently from my first character. I think, yeah, oh man, I cannot remember what I just did on this guy, my pilgrim here. I think I just said something about the distress signal, because he's kind of, I mean, he wants to do good things, but he's kind of reserved and he doesn't divulge information much, which is kind of how I was on my very first playthrough. But then I think on my first NG Plus, when I redid the main quest, just I was a little more honest in times like that.
Mm-hmm. Ethan's not gonna know anything about a distress signal. You'll find out here in a minute.
Oh, then it must have been the other way around. Then my brain. Oh man, I didn't get much sleep last night. Yeah. So okay. So if you choose it was a distress signal, then what does Ethan do?
I don't know, because I said I was in Constellation looking for an artifact. Hey, let me take look at some of your stuff, some of your super secret squirrel stuff. And he's like, "Sure, come on in."
It's like, oh, that checks out. Come on in
Yeah,
here and
right.
look at our proprietary, top secret, classified, stuff.
That's what I was thinking about. I'm like, why does he even let you in the door?
Yeah.
Well, as you asked, I guess. But yeah, you got to move this storyline forward somehow.
Yep. So then it's walking with him.
Yep. He opens the locked door, lets you into the lobby there as it is. And you get halfway across the lobby and
Then that's when you first disappear, right?
That's when you first
Yep.
disappear.
Yep. So
That's
then you've got to navigate through, kill some of the monster things and the parallel dimension. And
yeah.
this is the first time. I mean, so at this point in the game, you've started learning powers. So at that point, now you know we're a little more sci-fi. We're definitely starting to go on. But then now you're dealing with this parallel dimension thing. So it's almost like a teaser to what the Unity is in the end game, which you still, if like me, if you were totally in the dark playing the game, I didn't realize this was kind of a teaser for that coming, the Unity stuff coming later, but it certainly is.
Yeah. All the same graphics when you switch over from one universe and you go to the ruined universe, as we'll call it. The quest check mark for this portion, it says explore the ruins.
Yep.
So obviously, when you go to the new universe, it's all in ruins. The wall, everything's in red. Like all the red security lights are on. The emergency lighting, the regular lights are off. Emergency lighting's all red and on. And there's like weird stuff not crawling, but like there's this weird organic material lining all the walls, and some of the walls are crumbled, and some of the doors that were locked are now open or broken, and some doors are filled with clutter and debris. You can't get through them.
Yep.
So yeah, the first thing you have to do is you walk in, and suddenly these two monsters show up, come crawling out of the floor at you. So now you gotta get these guys before they
get
to you.
Yeah,
So,
I like the vibe, the design of the alternate universe. It definitely came across like the Aliens movies, whenever you're in the Alien movies, they're near the nest. Suddenly, there's all this organic material, which I don't know if they've ever explained where that comes from, how it grows, but it's just whatever. It's like their nesting material.
There's an artist, I think his name is Geiger or Giger, and he did a lot of the artistry work up for Aliens, but he's known for that specific genre of art. I mean, that's like his style, and the style of this game in the ruined portion of the universe really reminds me of his art. Maybe they took some from him and used that as inspiration, but it really reminds me of his art. If you know who I'm talking about, probably maybe you do, maybe you don't.
That sounds familiar. I'm definitely a movie guy, so that name does sound familiar. I'd have to look that up though. But yeah, it's an excellent environment. Now the first time you jump, it's not too confusing because you kill the guys and you pop back out, and then Ethan is like, "You're a spy." So what I'm going to do? I'm going to take you right to my director.
Yeah, I'm going to take you right to the heart of the facility.
Yeah, because I'm sure you're a spy, but I'm also sure you're not an assassin.
Yeah.
Like, take you right
to you can go on here, and you can go off on a bunny trail. We'll let you guys explore the dialogue yourselves. But yeah, you can answer some different things. There's always kind of the smart aleck answer, and there's kind of the honest, play it straight line guy answer, and then there's just the dummy. Oh, I have no idea what's going on.
Yep.
So you can play it any way you want, but they're all going to lead you to the point where he takes you and says, "Follow me. We're going to go talk to the director." So he opens another door. Go through the next door.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, surprise. What happens now?
You shift again.
Dun, dun, dun.
And
the ruined universe again. And so you're prepared now. You're like, all right, there's going to be monsters. They're going to jump out at me somewhere. So you're sneaking through this place real quiet and real sneaky, and come around the corner, and there's a dude standing over there. What?
Yeah.
Is that a person or is that a monster? Get a little closer, and now we run into Raphael. Yep. Raphael is the main character in the game.
Raphael Aguero. I wonder how many players accidentally shot him. Right?
It's the life force. Kill it.
Yep. It's alive. In this weird, crazy environment. There's no reason a human would survive here. But
right.
So he's the one that sent the distress signal, which this is where. Yep. This is where things get a little. I don't know if it quite makes sense because
kind of mind bendy.
Yeah, like he's in an alternate dimension, so how would you receive a distress signal unless he was able to bounce it through? Does he
It
explain
was
it?
an artifact.
The artifact kind of bridges the two. So,
Bridges you into their. Yep.
so they would have heard this distress signal themselves had they thought to listen for one, but they probably weren't thinking of it because they didn't
They'd have
think.
set
You know,
their programming to a certain frequency, beep boop beep, then maybe they could have picked it up. But nobody told them to do that, so they don't
yeah.
know.
Yep. So he explains that in his little universe, there was an explosion because of a gas leak or something, and everybody in the lab died. Now, what's interesting is like, I don't know how long he's been there, but I have to wonder, like, okay, in his universe, let's say the Nishini company has representatives or supplies being delivered to the lab periodically. Would they go in there and like just be? Would there just be a hole, like a vacuum, like everything's gone, or would it be possible for somebody to like dig through all that organic mess and get in there and actually rescue him? You see what I'm saying?
Right. If you never showed up, would their normal Cheetos delivery guy show up and find a wreckage and go, "Hey, is there survivors?" and try to get down there and help?
Yeah, call corporate, be like, hey, I was delivering the Cheetos,
Right.
but the lab's, because
Right.
yeah, it's kind of a weird thought because there's like the monsters got into that area, the ones you already killed. Well, those are native to the planet, but they shouldn't be in the lab, which implies that they broke in somewhere, and wherever they got in, he should be able to get out, right? Unless maybe they're like small little baby versions that crawled through a small hole and then grew up in there. But then, yeah, I don't know. I'm not probably. I am definitely overthinking this, but I can't help it when I'm playing games. I love the game, but then I'm just like, my brain's just always like, hey, how could I make this better? No offense, Bethesda. Love your game.
I've played through this quest like 4 or 5 times in the last 3 days because I've lost files or I got killed and I forgot to save, so I had to go back, or changing some mods, I ended up messing something up and have to go back and save. And so I've played through this a few times now, and every time at this point, you talk to Raphael, and the first time you talk to him, there's one of the things is he's like, "I'm starving," and it's something about, you can use your medical skill if you have medical skills, and it says, "Oh, you're dehydrated and you're starving and you look like hell," you know. And at that point, I don't know why they don't have a little drop down that says, "Offer Raphael some rations, offer Raphael a stim pack, offer Raphael some water." That'd be a great interaction, just to give you a little more immersion that I'm helping this guy out. No,
Yeah,
you just go, "Oh, you're starving. Let's move on."
yeah, because there's a lot. I'm pretty sure there's times where you can give people med packs. I know in Skyrim you can offer to give them potions, and then in Fallout or stim packs.
Think
So
when the Terramorphs attack in New Atlantis, I believe you can offer to heal some downed guards when the Terramorphs attack. And then there's another
spoiler
spot. Spoiler alert. If you've gotten this far, you've been spoiled pretty good by now.
Oh, yeah.
We're pretty spoily. But there's another quest where you go in and there's a security guard sitting on the floor and he wants you to go get something from deeper in the space station. And you can offer that guy some healing also. So I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 other spots where you can do that. And I think this would be in a perfect spot. I mean, obviously, this guy tells you, "I've been here for months. I was out of food. I was out of water. I'm getting dehydrated." At that point, they just throw in that little nudge to the player to help you immersion and go, "Here, offer him some food." You don't have any food on you, do you? Shame. Right. "Oh, I need food. What am I going to do?" Right. So all of these little things that help you get immersed in the game. I think this would have been a perfect spot for that.
Yeah, that would have been.
We talked to him, and I'm not sure exactly if you turn away from him or no, it's mid-conversation. That's right. Mid-conversation, he's explaining something to you, and boom. Back to the intact universe.
Yep.
So now you're talking to Ethan, and he's freaking out with his boss, going, "Hey, I don't know where he went. Oh, boss, he's here. He's here now. I'll bring him to you right now." So then it's follow Ethan again. Ethan's going to take you to Director Mira.
Yep.
So you walk a little further, you go through some doors, you're going down a hallway. And what happens?
You shift again.
The ruined universe, of course. And you're like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I just got to go down this hallway and maybe I'll shift back. This time, monsters do appear. So now you got to defend yourself. You kill the monsters, you get a little further. As soon as you kill them and you take a few steps, back again. So now by this point, you're starting to see the pattern. You're like, all right, I know where we're going with this. We're going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So, yep, sure enough, that's what you're going to be doing now.
And what they make the point to explain that in our universe as we go in there, that they do talk about, oh yeah, there had been a gas leak, but then we contained it, and Raphael in this universe is presumed dead because he's in a sealed area that it's too risky to even go in there. That's what they're claiming. This is basically what they claim.
No, they found his body.
Oh, they did?
They found his body, yes. They sure did. Yep. They're like, no, Raphael's dead. And you're like, no, in the other universe, he's alive. All of y'all are dead in the other one.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there's that discussion there because they're like, where did you go? And you tell them, I was talking to Raphael, and then I was back here with you. And that's when the whole thing comes out. Well, Raphael's dead. And you're like, well, there was an explosion, and Raphael survived. And they're like, well, there wasn't an explosion over here, but there was a gas leak. Maybe in the other universe, the gas leak caused an explosion, and Raphael saved us over there. So it all gets explained. It's very dialogue-y and really, I mean, if you're trying to nitpick it apart, it does actually talk. Every point that you're making, there's a point in the dialogue that actually
does explain it.
That point of like, why was it like that? So yeah, if you were to write it all down, you would be able to see that they're trying to cover their bases. And is it at this point? Nope.
Well, it's right around this time where the one scientist, you get the probe control unit, which controls your shifting,
right?
But only controls it based on the little glowy portal things. So it's like a weak spot. I really wish they would have just given it to you as like a weapon where you pull the trigger. You have it equipped. You have it out. You pull your trigger to shoot it, but you're activating it to switch. So you can switch anytime you want. I think that would have probably helped players a lot. I don't know if there was any programming issues with doing it that way, but that's what I think would have probably made players feel a little less confused if they had true control over when they switched.
Yeah. So up to this point, you're just wandering through this facility, and at random, you're changing.
Yep.
But you're sent at this point in the quest, you're sent with the scientist to go to look at the probe control, and she starts messing with the dial and changing the frequency, and a distortion appears. And so she tells you to go stand in the distortion. Mm-hmm. You can do the smart-ass remark that says, you first. That's when she says, it's not affecting me, it's affecting you. So if you think you want to go any further, then you need to be the one that does it. Oh, okay. So you can stand in it. She fiddles with the knobs a little bit more, and boop, you disappear.
Yep.
Now you're in the ruined universe again. So while you're there, you're in the same room, of course, and you look around, and you find the same probe sitting on a shelf or a desktop. You go pick it up. So now you have control of the calibration, and now you can determine when you change universes. So at this point, they've taught you about moving through the universes by randomly doing it, and then they give you control. The game gives you control by showing these little glowy distortion fields, and now you've learned the mechanic that if I go stand in the distortion field and I hit the calibration button, I can change universes from the ruined to the intact, back to the ruined, back to the intact. And if you've been paying attention and looking around, you'll notice that sometimes in the intact universe, doors are locked. And then when you go to the ruined universe, those doors are either broken or blown down or opened.
Yep.
And so this is how they take this facility that's only so big and they multiply it, because in one universe you can't get there. You
Yep.
have to go upstairs through a room and down, and then you go to a different universe and you have to go back upstairs and through a different room and down to get to a spot. So they've really made it into a maze by having you jump back and forth through universes. So yeah, you find the control unit and you come back and you speak with the scientist again. Oh, I was wrong. Mara is the scientist. Director Patel is the director. So
Yeah,
sorry.
Kaya Patel and then Maria Hughes. Oh, I wonder if she's related to Ethan.
And think about that. Wonder if they're married. Yeah. Interesting. You got to say yes, right?
Of course.
I mean, what's the odds?
Top secret lab. Of course, you're going to have married couples, like, just to help keep everything contained. It's like Project Manhattan, right? Back in the 40s, they had all the families go to the lab, building the nuclear bomb.
Yep. So, while you're in the ruined universe, you can wander around, and you notice that in the director's office, the director Patel's skeleton is sitting in the director's chair. So there's her dead body.
Yep.
Go into the doctor's office, and there's a dead body sitting on a couch there. And under the arm of the skeleton's dead arm is a slate. And if you pick the slate up, it says that it is a journal. So it's the dead doctor's journal. All of her private thoughts and emotions and secret feelings and wishes and fantasies and all that juicy stuff is in there.
Yep.
So now you read all of her secrets, or not, but you have it.
Yeah.
So you get it. You go back and you talk to the director, and the director at this point, she's like, "So I believe you. I know you're jumping back and forth to universes. So what do you think you're going to do? We need you to go down to the bottom." They've explained this. You need to go down to the lab, which is 9 meters, 90 meters underground, 3 stories underground. It's down underground. And it's a huge facility under there. You wouldn't expect it from the top side, but big facility underground. So you need to go down there. You need to turn off the emergency switches and cut the power to the experiment. You can't get there from here. So you're like, well, I can go to the ruined universe because Raphael made it up from there. So obviously he can use the elevator in his universe. So I'll go over to Raphael's universe. I'll go down the elevator and I'll kill the power. It'll be simple. We'll just run right down there. It'll be quick and easy. At this point, she's like, okay. So when you do that and we stop this distortion field from happening, are you going to be in my universe or Raphael's universe? Because it might make a difference who you come back to. And so now you get to tell her you're going to make a choice. You're going to save her and all of her employees. She says something about there being a bunch. I think it's around 300, I think she says. You don't see them all, but supposedly there's like 300 people in this place. So she gives you the moral stance of, you're going to save 300 souls or 1 soul. Me and you had a little discussion on this, right?
Yeah, we talked about it on our phone call the other day. So on the Pilgrim here, I chose just to save Raphael. Just, I was just a quick decision. Not so much character based, but on my first character, my first mission or my first playthrough, playing a space trucker. I'm a commercial driver in real life, making decisions as best I would. Like, I like to save everybody, but this is the way I was approaching this situation. Raphael is a genius. He's the guy who actually knows things. So I made the decision because I didn't realize there was a way there's a third option. I chose to save Raphael. I didn't know he was even optional as a follower once you do, but I did save him, and I felt bad. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I didn't realize it was like 300. I thought it was just a couple dozen employees. And this is the logic I have. It's like, if he dies, that knowledge could die with him. This accident could happen again. Granted, other people could discover that knowledge through whatever means, but also too, everybody at this facility, just like the Manhattan Project, they probably knew bad things can happen, that they could die, they knew what they were getting into. I'm pretty sure they all had a pretty good term life insurance policy for their loved ones back home. I'm
Yep.
sorry. That was kind of like, it's a very cold way to look at it. And I typically am the guy that wants to save everybody. But like in this decision, with the knowledge I had at the point in the game, based on who I am as a real human being on planet Earth, I chose to save Raphael. And then on the next universe, I discovered there is the way. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of ourselves here, but there is a way you can merge the universes.
So I used the same moral calculation as you did, but I went the other way. I didn't deep think it. If you guys watch our podcast, you'll see this. This is an occurrence that happens between me and Kenny quite often.
Yep.
I'm just moving the game forward. I want to just move forward, and Kenny is like the broad mind. He's the genius in the room that's like, okay, we got to think about this a minute. How did the storyline go? What did they really want us to do? And I'm like, well, there's a blue dot right over there. That's what we need to do. But so I was like, well, okay, 300 people versus one. This is an easy choice. You got to save all of them. We can't just save one. So you have 4 choices now. When she talked to you about this, she says, "Who do you think you're gonna help?" And you can say, "I don't know." You can say, "I'm gonna save Raphael," or you can say, "I'm gonna save all of you," or you can ask the question, "Is there a way to possibly merge the two?" This is where that's the only clue you get.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you get the clue that there is another outcome. And when you click that, she says, "I don't know." And that's all you get. That's the only little nugget you get to know that there's a third outcome for this. So, if you're not paying close attention and you're not an inquisitive mind like Kenny, or you're not a cheater like me, you never know.
Yeah.
You
Well,
want to go.
on my first playthrough, I did choose that line of dialogue because I always like to go through all dialogue options just to see where those rabbit holes go. And so I at least was aware that there was a possibility that it could happen. But I guess in that moment, I would have thought, well, they gave me that line of dialogue because that would be a natural thing somebody could ask. But maybe there just isn't a way to save anybody or just save both of them. And so that's why then I was faced with the choice. Now by the time I got to my new game +1, that's once I finished the main quest and was into the new game stuff, that's when I started listening to like the Starfield Lorecast, and also I think that was the time I joined the Starfield gaming community Facebook group. So at that point, I did start getting spoilers, and I discovered, yes, you can merge them. There's this very specific thing you have to do. It sounds complicated, but it's not as complicated as you would think. And then it allows you to merge the universes and save everybody. Yay! So I did that because of my player knowledge. I did that, I'm like, hey, well, I'm Starborn now, so I'm able to figure everything out. So
Yeah. So now the director says, if you're running low on some supplies, you can go talk to the doctor downstairs, and she'll give you some supplies. So now you get to go downstairs, talk to the doctor, and she tells you she's pretty grumpy. Like, I ain't got time for all this. And you ask her, well, what's with the attitude? And she's like, well, wouldn't you be upset too if you got stuck in the middle of the corner of the universe and with no one around, and you're a brilliant mind, and you're left here, putting Band-Aids on and handed out aspirins after the last night's party, and you don't get to do any of the cool doctor stuff that you signed up for, and now you're just a wet nurse for these folks?
Yep.
She's got a bit of an attitude. And at this point, you can hand her journal. Right? And at first she's like, I only got a few supplies. You can only have like 2 heal packs and 2 bandages, and that's it. Go away. And you're like, hey, look what I got. You hand her the journal. And you can kind of be a smart aleck about it and ask her, hey, do you believe me now? Or you can just hand it to her and go, here, I thought you might like this. And she reads through it and says, oh, this is my journal. Did you, oh, and then she realizes that there's stuff written in her journal that you just handed her that she hasn't written yet, but it's in her own handwriting or voice, or however the slates work. It's her own thing. And she realizes that she has not written this yet. Now she's a lot more open to helping you out. She goes, oh, you know what? I have extra supplies right here for you. And she pretty much doubles up what she just gave you. So that's a way to that's why we wanted to pick up the slate from the dead body earlier, because the dead body slate is her journal that you give to her now, and you get extra supplies out of it. It's the only thing. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of immersive that way. It helps you.
Yeah, it's the little details. Kind of like for the same reason, like, if it would have been nice if you could have given Raphael some food, kind of thing, right?
Right.
Now,
yeah.
Is this the point? I think this is the point in time where if you talk to Ethan, you can persuade him to give you that shotgun that has the experimental A7. I think is what it's called.
Yeah. Right. So you go from her office and you're trying to find the elevator, and halfway between her office and the elevator, you run into Ethan's office. But you've jumped back and forth through time. You realize that you can't get there from here, and you can jump through some universes, and you end up in the ruined universe in the security office, and there is a pretty badass gun on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
If you take it in the ruined universe, you can have it. If you don't take it in the ruined universe, and then you jump back to the intact universe and talk to Ethan, that one on the wall is gone. But you could persuade Ethan to give you a nice AA-99 experimental model gun.
Yeah.
So if
it
you're
does 30% to aliens and stuff,
yeah. So if you're not really well equipped, and you're mainlining it through the game, and you're still pretty low level, it's a pretty good gun. I mean, it's not as good as some of the stuff you can make later on yourself, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm using the what's it called? Did I say it was the Bridger? The
grenade launcher.
Yeah, it's
the Bridger.
Yeah, the Bridger.
The single shot grenade launcher, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I've Dark Star manufactured it up, and it's pretty heavy duty. And I'm working really hard because that shoots explosives, grenades. And so you can use that to rank up in your demolition skill. The first rank, you have to do like 10 kills with explosives. I didn't ever figure this out till just recently. The second time, it's like 25. Third time, it's like 75. To the fourth rank, you got to do 150. So if you're just trying to use grenades, it takes forever to try to rank up all those kills with just grenades.
Yeah.
But if you use this, every time you kill somebody with this gun, it counts.
Okay.
So
that's helpful.
But it's in close spaces, and you're throwing explosives off in enclosed spaces, so it's a little dangerous too, folks.
Yep. Be careful. Proceed with caution.
Yep.
So eventually you get down. Shortly after you kind of restock and head into you're restocking and head into your final fight, so to speak, right? But it's really not much of a fight. And there are some more of the alien monster things running around.
Once you get to the elevator and you go down in the elevator, this is where it's really the maze part.
Mm-hmm.
They've explained the mechanic to you by randomly moving you from universe to universe, and then giving you control to move from universe to universe. Now they're going to send you down into the maze, and just like what's the Greek maze with the Minotaur in it?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Labyrinth.
The Greek labyrinth.
Yep.
Yeah, Midas is labyrinth.
Yep.
So just like that, now you're down in this maze, and there's a lot. It's pretty long.
Yeah.
So 3 different sections. You have to go to the facility section and override the lockdown at the facility section. So that's one. You make your way to there. And that's going in and out of the different universes to get there.
Yep.
You turn that off. At this point, all of the security for the lab is on, so you're facing automatic laser guns and cameras, and robots are popping out trying to kill you. So if you want to get away from that, you can go to the ruined universe. And then what happens? Well, then you have all these scorpion monsters that are popping up out of the ground, and they're trying to kill you. There's really no safe place. You're just going to have to deal with it.
Yep.
So if you sneak around and you can get into one of the lockdown facilities in the intact universe, you can reassign the friend-foe inhibitors, and so you can turn the robots off. You can tell them that you're a friend. You can turn the lasers off. You can turn the cameras off, and you can disarm security. So the main thing is what you're wanting to do is disarm the security. That's the objective. You go to the first one, you turn that one off, back and forth through the universes. You go to the second one, which is called the accelerator room, and you got to turn the lockdown off in the accelerator room. Right?
Yep.
Okay, I don't want to take over the conversation here.
Oh no, keep going. You're good. You're good.
Okay, so back and forth again. You get to the storage section, and you got to turn the security off in the storage section. And the first time I did this, you got to look everywhere for the distortions because sometimes they're not in the same place in the different universes. One time it might be behind the filing cabinet on the left-hand side of the room.
Yeah.
And so you go and you use it, and then when you use it, it's, behind the desk on the right-hand side of the room, in the same room in the different universes. So the distortion field is in different spots when you go back and forth.
Yeah.
So until you've done it a few times, you don't realize that, oh, okay, I got to go back here behind the servers and look in this little nook to be able to change universes to get to the spot. You can't do any of the you can't turn off any of the lockdown overrides in the ruined universe. All the computers are destroyed. So, but you can't get to them in the intact universe. So that's the trick, is getting into the room in the ruined universe and then swapping over and being in the intact universe, and then using the computer to turn off the security. And then back to the ruined to get out of the room to progress further.
Yep.
And so you do that 3 or 4 times to finally get to the lab. And in the lab, this is where all the goodness starts. There's like 10 or 15 monsters running around. You got to try to get through those. Then you go to the intact universe, and there's 4 or 5 robots, and there's lasers on every wall shooting at you, and there's cameras picking up where your location is to tell the lasers to shoot at you. So,
yep. So, I mean, once you've cleaned out both universes, then it gives you, it tells you the simple way of whichever universe you want to save.
Mm-hmm.
You
it gives you 7 quest objectives.
Yeah, and it's all the interlocks, the power interlocks, and you have to, you go to the universe you want to save, and you activate the interlocks there, which then saves that universe. But there's a specific order, and I'll in the show notes I will post a link to, I'll find it where there's a walkthrough on how to do it. But if you do them in a specific order, then it allows the 2 universes to merge.
Right. So
you got to get saving. Well, I think the better way to describe it is that because the destroyed part of the lab in our universe, isn't it unoccupied? Like, because that's where so it basically sucks Raphael's little pocket universe into ours, therefore saving him, but nobody else dies in our universe.
So in the intact universe, you can find Raphael's body here. And this is where he saved the whole facility by stopping the fire from happening, but he died right here on the floor.
Gotcha.
He's got a slate on him. And this slate explains to you how he had written up the experiment, how he was going to run the experiment. Yep. And it tells you that you have to find certain frequencies and make sure the frequencies are aligned and they're stable. And then you have to degauze the interlocks and turn some of them on and turn some of them off. And then you go in, you make your way into the office by going into the ruined timeline universe. You get in there and you find another slate that says, okay, if you do it this way, here's the number you need, and this will make it stable. You may have to experiment with it. So if you're putting all the clues together, this is the point you should dawn on you that maybe if I do the degauzing and the initializing in both universes, this is how I can make them come together. And all points becoming one point of light going forward.
Yep.
So that's how you do it. But there's quite a few steps. For me, it was a little bit mind bendy to wrap my mind around. Okay, you got to do it in this side, And then you go to the other one and you take the first 3 steps on that side, and then you go to the other one and you do the fourth and fifth step, and then you go to the other one and you do the fourth and fifth step, then you go to the other one and you do the final step, and you go to the other one and do the final step. Because if you don't realize you got to jump back and forth, you do all the steps and nothing happens. You're like, what? But if you do it right, you don't have any notification that you're doing it right until you get to the very end and you flip the button at the very end of the machinery where the lasers are all at. You go down there and you flip the switch on the intact universe and you flip the switch on the ruined universe. And what happens?
It just spits you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't even it just suddenly you're like it's like a load screen, a quick little load screen basically.
And everything's dark, and you open your eyes, and it starts to focus, and you can see the doctor there, and then the director's there. And if you pan over to your left, you can see Raphael's dead body laying on a table. But you can also see Raphael live, standing there, looking at his own dead body.
Yep.
So he's not tripping out.
Yep. Raphael is definitely tripping balls. It's like, wait, what? That's my dead body.
Yeah, how does this happen? It takes me a minute. Give me a minute. I got to collect my thoughts here.
Yeah,
but this is when he tells you, oh, if you save the intact universe, you get a reward this big, right?
Yep.
If you save the ruined universe, you get a reward this big. If you merge the two, you get a reward this big, and then it doubles and gives you a second reward this big.
Okay.
I know I did it. It gave me 33,000 credits, and then I did one more dialogue option, and it gave me another 25,000.
Okay.
That's pretty big. That's a pretty big reward for this game. And then they give you another gun. She gives you a special gun. And then she says, okay, well, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming. Thanks for playing. And you talk to Raphael, and he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life, but I'm going to go heal up on New Atlantis. If you ever want to talk to me some more, or maybe offer me a job or something, you can see me there. And then you get out of that dialogue option, and then you can have the option to talk to him again, and it actually comes up. You want to hire him? And he says this. I don't know why they gave you the option again before he ever even walks out of the room to hire him. And he tells you the same thing. I got to go to a New Atlantis. Meet me there.
Yeah. Wait a few game days and head over there. So go do a side quest, come back, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yep. So that's the point of how you save both universes, and you can get Raphael as an engineer on your ship. And as the engineer, what does he do? I think Starship engineering, occasionally repairing one block of a system. So it helps your healing speed of your ship, your shields and your engines when you're in a combat and you start to take damage on your systems. Your engineering skill is how fast your ship heals back up over time.
He also has 2 outpost skills.
Yep.
Outpost manufacturing or engineering and outpost management. So when your production is increased by quantity as well as speed.
Yeah.
So, but it's kind of sucks though, because like he's got a really good starship skill, but he's also really useful on outposts. So it's like,
where do I want him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I haven't even done outposts yet in the game. I won't even do them until my space trucker has maxed out all his powers. So that's going to be a few months. And then once I'm in my final universe, that's when I'll do an outpost. I'll build an outpost, and I'll do the what's the mission, the Shattered Space, which I still haven't even done that yet. Because I'm waiting to do that. Because I do know that having Andreja on that quest is useful. Is and then so I'm wondering if I successfully romance her again, but it'll be weird because I want to. Well, here's the thing. I don't think you can romance her. Well, maybe you can romance them if you do. If you go to the lodge and tell them like, "Hey, I'm a Starborn," can you still try to romance any of the characters?
I think you can. I think it's basically just time and experience spent with any one of the four constellation members over time and experience.
Okay.
So you go and you tell them, and you're going to fast track through this world to get to the next universe.
Yeah.
You could still go through and do the Crimson Fleet quest line and have any one of these guys on you, and that's going to calculate through their affinity
True.
towards you. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you can, logically thinking. I haven't tried it. I haven't tested the theory.
Yeah, I'll have to. Yeah, once I get to my 10th universe, that's when I'll have to try to decide. Oh, well, there are two things I know. It's totally a tangent, but the two things I know you lose out on if you confess to Constellation that you're Starborn is that Walter never gets to do the mission with you and trust you and let you do the overdesign mission.
Okay.
The overdesign mission cannot be done if you
never get the Kepler spaceship then.
And then Vlad will not sell anything, or he won't buy your research debt off you at double the price, because he buys it for double what anybody else does.
There's one where he sends you to his house too, but I think that's just a side activity that you can do. You to go turn the lights off at his place on the other planet over there.
Yeah, and then he's got his journals there, so you kind of learn a little bit about his backstory, which is kind of a neat way to learn about somebody's backstory.
Adds flavor.
This the typical talk to them and go through dialogue options, And he's got a pretty sweet house.
Yes, Vlad did well in the Crimson Fleet.
Yeah, he did.
Nice place.
Yeah, I mean, it's I almost wish you could. I wish there's a mod for this, but like you could put an outpost at all the POIs, so then that way you could still make a POI your base. I'm not necessarily because of any of the structures, but some of the geological points of interest. Like there's some of those gardens that glow, or the crystals that glow. Those would be great places to have an outpost. But it's a point of interest.
POI, there's a certain perimeter that you can't build anything inside of the perimeter of the POI.
Exactly.
So, yeah, they've marked it off as a cell of its own or something. So,
so Entangled mission. Like, I really enjoyed this mission, and I will say this: I don't look forward to playing it a second time. But that first time going through it was a ton of fun. So and that's how some of the missions are in the game for me. There's one of the Crimson Fleet quest where you go to that cruise ship. That one.
Okay.
That was, I would say, my favorite Crimson Fleet mission the first time I went through it. But
mine
is my least favorite on repeat.
Yes, because it's monotonous. You're like, I don't gotta go. There's no excitement. I gotta go talk to this guy, and then I gotta try to persuade that person. I gotta manipulate this dude, and to move conversations forward. That's all you're really doing in that one. And like you said, the first time you do it, it's exciting. It's all new. Oh, this is kind of cool, intriguing. Second or third time, you're like, okay, just click, 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 click. Let's get through. But the last mission that you go to, and you actually, spoiler, you find the Galbank ship that's crashed.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite part of that whole quest line is going through that ship. And it's kind of amazing getting through there to get to the end and find out what's happened. But there's a lot of activity going on there. The security is armed, and so you're running into all the security bots all over the place. And so that's a fun one too. I like that one a lot.
And the running out after you transfer the credits and the ship starts to fall apart. That the whole,
well, that brings up your anxiety, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Alarms, whoop whoop whoop.
Yeah, you gotta refine your Tom Cruise running skills. Just haul butt through that thing. Although I don't think you actually die. I think if you just stopped and stood there, I don't think anything would happen to you. But they certainly make it seem like it. It's gonna, bad things will happen. I tell you what, I got one bone to pick on the Crimson Fleet quest. That you couldn't give the money. You could either give the money to the fleet or you can give the money to the UC Sistef. But the money was actually stolen from Freestar people, and you couldn't give the money back to them. My character, like I would have not have even thought of doing that, except for my space trucker is Freestar Collective.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute, this is Freestar money. Why can't I go give it to them? Which that'd be a great option. You go give it to them. Yeah, especially because by this point in time, I had already done the Freestar Rangers quest, so I was really ingrained into that culture. And I'm like, I can't even take it to the Freestar Rangers?
That's the same complaint I have with the government when they levy a fine against a company. Okay, you gave them a big old $1 billion fine. Where's that money go? Oh, the government gets to keep it. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
You levied the fine because the company did something against their patrons. Shouldn't that money go to the patrons?
Yeah,
Nah,
true.
Government can take care of the money better than you can.
Yep. Perfect. We always trust the government.
Yep. So that's Entangled. Awesome.
Yep. Good mission. So let's see. So now next, hopefully, and I don't want to say what it is because just in case it doesn't happen. But hopefully, our next episode will be a big treat for you guys. Yeah, something's cooking. So, or it might be 2 episodes later. I'm not quite sure.
But you got to stay tuned to find out.
Yep, keep tuning in, and I was telling you, we need to have like an outro where we record something. I can just, when I'm editing the podcast, I can just drop it right in there. And but anyways, if you guys have any feedback, we're pretty much gonna do, because I think the next mission is Revelation. I think that's. Let me double check here.
Because you got the 2 to clean up with afterwards. Let's see.
Because we did the NASA missions already, right?
Yep. But you got to do Unearthed and Revelation, which they're both tied to Entangled. So all 3 of those kind of proceed together.
Yeah.
Then there's One Giant Leap, which is that's the NASA one?
No. Oh no, Unearthed is the NASA one.
Okay.
So we still have to do that one, right?
I did it before. I completed it all the way up to the point where it says to finish this mission, you need to go finish Entangled.
Oh, so that will be the next mission then, Unearthed, where we go to NASA and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I was going to say I don't remember talking about it on the podcast here. So
we have not. We need to.
Yeah, that for me as a like NASA like fanboy, just doing that whole mission going into, that was so much fun. So
the
our
Cape Canaveral main office.
Yep. And climbing to the top of the launch tower. I have a really cool picture from the top of there because the atmosphere, the thin atmosphere on Earth really makes it for pretty sunsets. So our next episode we're going to have is on the 26th, 2 weeks from today. But that one will not be that'll be the special episode. So our next actual content episode where we talk about the Unearthed mission, I believe we're going to do May 10th. Does that weekend work for you?
I'm sure it does, unless, let's see, May 10th. I have nothing happening there.
Okay, yep. So if you have any feedback for the Unearthed mission, send that in by Friday, May 9th, and that way we can talk about it. You're going to want to send that feedback into starfieldreport@gmail.com. And we'll talk all the NASA stuff. And then, because after that point, it's the Revelation quest and One Giant Leap, So we've only got 2 more episodes regarding missions. But yeah, it'll be fun going through the NASA stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
send us your ship builds. Send us your outpost builds. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us what you're doing.
Yep.
I'd sure like to get some interaction with you guys. Love to hear from you.
And if you have any pictures of your ships or outposts or random pictures from the game, just send them in to me at starfieldreport@gmail.com, and I will get them added to the post or the end credits, the outro. That way other players can see what you guys are up to.
Yeah.
All right, well, folks, it's been a blast as always. take care. And Jax, any last words?
As always, drive fast, take lots of chances.
And we'll see you in the Starfield.
Now that was some fine work under pressure.